Thank you, Lynn. How many of us know someone who has had an abortion? Virtually all of us. How many know someone in your family who has had an abortion? Again, a fair number of us. How many of us were born after January 22nd, 1973? Few of us have been alive and had abortion legal their entire life. Now, I want to have a caveat on the language here first. These articles and quotations came from a previous century when it was not well understood that trans men could have uteruses and could still be pregnant, and so some of these quotations refer to women specifically. Please. Women who operated the abortion. Here are some more of the materials that the Chicago's Women Liberation Union gathered about their abortion counseling service. Judith Arcana wrote this poem. She said, and this has been excerpted. On the phone, she said, "I have a friend who's got a problem, but she couldn't get to a phone, so I'm calling for her. Do you know what I mean? Is this the right place?" When she lay down, she said, "Are you a doctor?" Then she said, "Aren't you afraid you'll get caught?" When we were putting in the speculum, she said, "Oh, I had breakfast before I came. I know I wasn't supposed to, but I was so hungry. I just ate everything in sight. Is that okay?" Later she said, "I have to throw up." Or, "I have to go to the bathroom right now. Stop. I just have to go to the bathroom, and then I'll come right back." On a different day, "I don't feel so good. Should I do it anyway?" And when we were done, she said, "What if it happens again? You know, this. Would you do me again?" She stood on the back steps outside the counselor's apartment and said, "This is mi prima, my cousin from Mexico. Can you talk Spanish to her? Hablo un poco, un poquito? Sí, gringa. We will do this." "No, I'll keep it on. It's not hot. I'm okay. I'm fine." She was wearing her boyfriend's baseball jacket in the kitchen. She said, "Just tell me what I have to know." "This is my husband, Ed. He's going to sit here with me." She leaned over, touched his arm. "Ed, honey, this is Julie. She's my counselor. She's the one they assigned to me when we called the number." When we told her she should pay whatever she could afford, she was quiet for a minute and then said, "I think I can find $9. My father brought me here today. He's paying for this, but he's really mad about it." She took a $100 bill out of her pocket and said, "He thinks if everyone got liberated, like with civil rights, there'd be a lot of trouble. And he says I prove his point, because look what happens when you just do what you want. He says that's why we have to have so many laws on everybody, because if you let people be free and do what they want, they'll just do evil things. He doesn't like me to talk to my mother. Him and his mother, they don't let me go home to visit." She put the tiny baby in her mother's arms and said, "We sneaked to come for this visit. He doesn't know I'm pregnant again. My baby is so new, I can't have another one right away. He wouldn't even really want it anyway. He thinks this one makes too much noise. He doesn't like me to do anything without permission. Holding her purse, holding her gloves, the girl clinging to her coat sleeve, she said, "You take good care of her, 'cause she don't know no better. She just a baby her own self. She don't even know how this happened. She don't know what it's all about, this whole thing. My mother told me I couldn't keep it. She told me she'd get the baby taken away from me right away if I had it." She cried, loud crying, with snot and choking. She wiped her nose and said, "She knows I want to have it. I could be a good mother. I've taken care of babies and I know what to do. But I'm only 15, so she'll get it taken away from me. I know she will. That's why I'm doing this. I'd rather not even see it." "Oh, it'll take about an hour and a half for me to drive home. I live over the line in Indiana. And here's what I'm going to do." She said, "One winter weekend, my father's a heavy sleeper, so if the cramps come in the night while he's sleeping, he'll never hear me. I'll just go in the bathroom and lock the door." "Why do you do this?" She looked around the small bedroom and said, "You're not rich. With what you charge, you can't be doing this for the money. What's it all about? Are you a bunch of women's libbers? Is that it?" I think it was. She leaned over to the woman driving and quietly said, "My daughter's in Children's Memorial. She's only 2. She's having an operation on her stomach valve today. It doesn't work right since she was born. My husband's there with her for that. Well, I'm here for this. Could I leave right after I'm done? Could you take me back right away so I don't have to wait till everybody's done? Would that be okay? Would the other women mind, do you think?" She gulped some water in the kitchen and said, "Oh, thank you. You'll never know what this means to me. Thank you so much. I know some people say it's wrong, abortion, that you shouldn't take a life, and maybe you did take a life, but it's all give and take, isn't it? My mother always said that everything always comes down to give and take, and the baby today, that was the taking, and me, my own life, I think that's the giving." That's some of what it was like for women pre-Roe, and may be again. A good friend of mine told a story. When she was young, she was raped. Abortion was illegal. She had the child, but she wasn't able to care for it. She put it up for adoption. That was the hardest thing she had ever done. It was gut-wrenching to give away that child. Soured her on the whole experience, really. Worked hard to maybe, possibly enjoy sex again. Worked her way up, found a person she thought she'd like, and the condom broke. She could not face giving away another child, and she knew she couldn't care for the child. She contemplated suicide. She saved pills. She had a handful of pills in her hand, ready to swallow them when she saw on television that New York State had legalized abortion without residency requirements. And she put the pills down. I do not want to return to that. Politicians and extremist judges are taking us that direction now. Some states have passed laws making abortion illegal for everything, no exception for rape or incest. Our dear lawmakers in Indiana did provide exceptions, but they were in such a hurry to write that bill, they didn't include first cousins in the exceptions. A new report by the Indiana Maternal Mortality Review Committee found that our maternal mortality increased 46% in 2020. 92 women died from pregnancy-associated complications in 2020. 4 out of 5 of those deaths were preventable. Black women were disproportionately affected. It's not just. These are facts. These are figures. This could thus far have been given at a League of Women Voters meeting or a presentation at some liberal political rally. Why is this a sermon? Because it touches here. That's why. It's about spirit. It's about a primary commitment to a rich and robust interdependent web of life. I want to promote health and diminish suffering. It's not just life and growth, 100% amen. Life at all costs is cancer. And it's not just flourishing for some particular subgroup, some sex, some ethnicity, some sexuality. It's flourishing for the widest, deepest part of our interdependent web of life. I don't want just a particular species, and I'm not trying to equate these things. I'm trying to achieve a rich balance. If I come across a spider in the house, I relocate it. I try and scare away the raccoons. If a stink bug comes in, it gets dead. If the mice come in, I give them one chance, and then I do kill them, and I feel bad about it. Life is about choices. I've wrestled with this for years. Susan and I have had a number of conversations. I respect vegetarians. I'm willing to eat the meat of animals who were treated well, the small ranchers, not the giant factory farms where the profit motive produces cruelty to the human workers as well as the animals who are fattened and killed there. If I lived up to my values, I wouldn't eat meat except where I got it from people I knew had raised it well. And I still do, but I'm working on it. Meatless Monday is a thing I'm going to try and get into. Y'all hold me accountable. See, there we go. If you see me out somewhere, ask me. I do support a person or persons making choices about the size and makeup of their family. I do prioritize the health and well-being of living humans over the rights of a clump of cells which cannot live on its own yet. And of course there are complications and shades of gray. How long into the pregnancy? How much in danger is the life of the person carrying the fetus? How did the pregnancy begin? How will it haunt the parent and child? Is the procedure being considered because the fetus has a terminal condition already? Because it will be born but mentally ill? Because it's the wrong sex? There are complicating factors, but these factors do not compel me to forbid all abortions from occurring. There are troubling questions. We live with uncertainty. Susan talked about taking her whole stomach or a part of it. I think you made a great choice, and I don't care if I believe in your choice or not. You have the right to make it. I try to provide information and support rather than shame. That's spiritual maturity, living into the both and. You know, it is natural and human to wish for easy answers, to have unambiguous decisions, but mostly we have to wrestle with difficult questions, partial information, ambiguity, and some amount of harm to all sides, some amount of inconsistency on all sides. All we can do is try to make decisions that encompass the widest and deepest part of the web of life, honoring the interdependence. Interdependence, that means I'm dependent on all of you and all the animals and all the fishes and all the birds and the soil and the insects. Let us try to make decisions that encompass that whole web of life and try to create the healthiest, strongest, most resilient and joyful community by working hard to create the healthiest, strongest, and most joyful individuals and families. So may we be.